So Disney have got their eyes on Epic Games and Fortnite. They are interested in acquiring Epic Games and Fortnite and Unreal Engine, everything that falls under the Epic Games banner. So very recently, Disney invested 1.5 billion into Epic Games, and that was sort of to act as the sort of initial step, the first steps in a acquisition. So they threw a huge $1.5 billion investment into Epic Games, and the whole idea of that is that it would lead into an eventual acquisition of the whole company. So this is via IGN. Disney reportedly keen on buying Fortnite developer Epic Games, but waiting for the right moment. So, Disney executives are reportedly keen on fully buying Fortnite developer Epic Games at some point. The claim comes from veteran tech reporter Alex Heath via the Town podcast, who said that senior executives were waiting for the right moment to make a bid for the metaverse game following Disney's prior $1.5 billion investment in the developer. Fortnite is the jewel in the crown of Epic's portfolio, alongside its pervasive development toolkit Unreal Engine, and a significant money spinner. But the past year has been rocky for the game, something that led to Epic Games shedding 1,000 staff members last week, due in part to a downturn in engagement through 2025. Now that really does blow my mind. The fact that they had to lay off 1,000 employees and developers, and I mean a bunch of studio veterans, a bunch of veterans and OG developers were let go. And it's baffling because it's like the numbers are going down. The numbers are tanking. They are losing the player base. And yeah, sure, there's expenses, and they're clearly spending way too much money on that. They're spending way more money than they should to run a game like this. They're clearly overspending. But despite all that, the game still made billions of dollars last year. I mean, despite the tanking numbers and the player base losing interest, despite all that, they still managed to generate billions of dollars last year. So there is no reason, realistically, that they should have let go 1,000 employees. I don't see how that could have happened. That shouldn't be happening at all with a studio like Epic Games. Do you know what it proves? It proves that, I mean, if Epic Games are struggling and can't stay afloat, then fucking nobody can. Disney, meanwhile, is already heavily invested in Fortnite, with dozens of character skins and crossovers already part of the game, including Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, and Disney. And a long-awaited Disney-specific mode that's set to offer fans a place to play, watch, create, and shop. They're definitely trying to compete with Roblox, in the sense that they won. I mean, they've kind of done it, I feel, with like the creative mode that got introduced a few years ago. That's sort of a competitor to Roblox, but I think they definitely want to be sort of a full-on competitor to Roblox. And sort of with the backing of Disney, they probably could pull that off. But I mean, the thing is, they're not short of cash. That's the thing. There is no way that Epic Games, who have Fortnite, the biggest game of all time, that makes billions and billions and billions of dollars every year, and they have Unreal Engine. There's no reason that a company like that should be low on cash in any world. It's fucking bonkers, man. It's fucking bonkers. I know for a fact that there are senior executives in Disney who want them to buy Epic and are just waiting for that moment, Heath said. And then there are others who think it's a bad idea. If Epic ever sold, if it ever decided to call it quits on being an independent company, Disney would be the most natural home for it for a lot of reasons. Here Heath referenced the upcoming Disney mode, concept art for which looks like a virtual Disneyland park with various themed areas, and the idea it just became Disney's gaming platform. Despite 2 years of development work, however, there's still no suggestion of when it will finally arrive. Last year, Sweeney blasted a Wall Street Journal report that claimed development of the mode was being hampered by slow decision-making at Disney, something he claimed was BS. Still, that report stated that the mode, announced back in March 2024, would not be ready before this fall, something which is expected to be born out of reality. Epic is a founder-controlled company, Heath continued. Tim Sweeney has full voting stock control and can make unilateral decisions, and it's really up to him. That's because it is a private company, it is not a publicly trading company. As we saw, he was the guy who went to bat against the app stores, against Apple and Google, to open those up, and it's almost an ideological crusade when you're running a company like Epic to do something like that. And he even acknowledges in the layoff email that it cost Epic. Yeah, that is definitely a pretty cool thing he did, with sort of going to war against Apple and Google with their stores, the App Store and the Play Store, because they definitely are fucking monopolies. They definitely are, absolutely. Well, I mean, so is Disney. So is Disney. Disney's an absolute monopoly as well. I mean, they own everything at this point. Disney own every legacy studio, every independent studio. I mean, nothing's independent anymore, and nothing acts on its own. You're either, if you know, in entertainment, you know, in the movie space, in the gaming space, in the movie space, there basically aren't any sort of major players that act alone, that are independent, you know, really can do their own thing. You know, if you're a movie studio, you're either owned by Disney or you're owned by Paramount, you know, that's the thing. And the gaming space is a lot like that as well. And I fucking hate monopolies. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that loves monopolies. I don't think there's anyone going, oh yes, monopolisation. I love me a bit of monopolisation. I don't think there's anyone on that boat. But yeah, Disney's a monopoly. Apple's a monopoly. Google's a monopoly. It's just, it's just like a handful of corporations that own fucking everything, and it's just going to keep going and going and going until there literally is fucking nothing left, and that is the trajectory, which is depressing. It's pretty depressing, It really is. One Disney executive who strongly backed the company's investment in Fortnite was Josh D'Amaro, the same person who recently won the race to become the company's new CEO. While his tenure has only just begun, it's believed that D'Amaro will want to quickly make his mark in the role this year, and he has previously remarked that the launch of Fortnite's Disney mode will be a major moment for the company going forward. Just this week, former long-term Disney executive Kevin Mayer and he expected D'Amaro to make bold steps this year and grow the company's gaming output. I think Epic or some other video game asset would be a great addition to the Walt Disney Company's asset base. Fortnite itself has often struggled to launch other modes for its game that stray too far from its core Battle Royale proposition. Interest has waned for the racing, music and Lego modes it launched to fanfare in late 2023, and Epic has previously admitted that it's struggled to fully explain to consumers that Fortnite is more than just a battle royale. But plans are seemingly afoot for some kind of new era, as mentioned by Sweeney in his email on the layoffs. We'll be kicking off the next generation of Epic with huge launch plans towards the end of the year. Announcing the layoffs last week, Sweeney said Epic Games had reacted to a downturn in interest for Fortnite that began in 2025, though analysts told IGN that fewer people playing the game's veteran Battle Royale was only one of its problems. The company has spent years fighting costly legal battles with Apple and Google, while bankrolling the Epic Games store as it attempts to rival Steam. And then there's the explosive growth of Roblox, which Fortnite has now fallen far behind. Many fans feel like it is Epic Games' own staff that have paid the price, while those who remain at the company say they simply don't know how Fortnite will look after this year and beyond. With close to a quarter of the company's staff gone, perhaps the game's big new Disney offering will turn it all around. That's the thing. So they're going after Roblox. They want to compete with Roblox. They want to take Roblox's numbers. They're going after Steam. They want Steam's numbers. They're fighting these $100 million battles against Apple and Google. How long have those legal battles even been going on for now? I think it's been a good amount of time now. Yeah, I mean, they're basically trying to solo compete against Steam and Roblox, who are two absolute juggernauts of the gaming space. They're trying to compete with Roblox and Steam, and they're fighting these huge battles against Apple and Disney. It's all very Apple and Google. Sorry, it's all very costly. It's cost them, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They're clearly overspending when it comes to maintaining Fortnite and Unreal Engine. They're definitely overspending, hugely overspending, clearly. So, yeah, if it keeps going down this path, then I think a buyout is sort of going to be their only option. Because, the thing is, they're going to be able to sell out to Disney for 10, 15, 20, 25, maybe $30 billion, something like that. It's definitely going to be in the tens of billions. It's going to be a 10 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion dollar buyout by whoever it ends up being. It's probably Disney. So, you know, in a year or so, Fortnite's going to be in a significantly worse position, and their best option is going to be a buyout, and they're going to be able to sell out to whoever for a mean lump of cash, you know, tens of billions of dollars, and that will probably be Disney. Will that be, you know, will Disney be able to turn Fortnite around? They haven't had huge luck with the gaming space, you know. I mean, like, one of the first things they did when they bought Lucasfilm was shut down Lucasfilm Arts, which was the video game development subsidiary of Lucasfilm. That was one of the first things they did, was shut down LucasArts. And they shut down Disney Infinity, whatever that studio was called. They shut that down pretty quick as well. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this progresses. So, yeah, that is all I wanted to cover for today. So, see you later.